Hi, come and join me as I show you how easy it is to make my thankful, grateful, blessed greeting card using the Stampin' Up! Paisleys and Posies stamp set and coordinating Paisley framelits dies. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Welcome to StampingSmiles.com. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 15 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand-stamped smiles. So while I'm showing you how easy it is to make my thankful, grateful, blessed greeting card, I'm also going to show you how we're going to dress it up with using just a portion of this pretty Paisleys embossing folder. I wanted the Paisleys and Posies stamp set because my mom loves Paisley. And so if you're like my mom and love Paisley or know someone who does, you'll want to pick up the Paisleys and Posies stamp set and the coordinating Paisley framelits dies. And if you order the two of them together using the special Paisleys and Posies bundle item number I have listed here, you'll save 10% on both. And look, it also has a coordinating embossing folder, the pretty Paisleys embossing folder. So I'm going to grab my big shot and we're going to start with some embossing and die cutting. I wanted to use the pretty Paisleys embossing folder in my card, but my card design didn't work for using that big oval. So I'm going to show you how we're going to use just part of it. So what I have here is my Big Shot die cutting machine and the Big Shot platform. And so we're starting to build what's called a sandwich. So next I need a cutting pad, and then we have our embossing folder, and I have some Whisper White cardstock. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this on here, and I want my design pretty close to the top and centered on here. So let's go ahead and close that. And so I'm going to look on this design, and that's looking on the top. We're really happy with that. So we're going to place this on here, and then the rest of our sandwich is another cutting pad. So you get the Big Shot platform and two cutting pads when you purchase a Big Shot die cutting machine. So let's go ahead and crank this through and put 3,000 pounds of pressure on here to get this design embossed into our card. Isn't that pretty? So we're going to continue with the Big Shot and the Big Shot platform, but now we're going to die cut with one of the dies from the Paisley framelits dies. We're going to use this one, and so this one's very detailed, and that makes it a thinlits die. Okay, so sometimes it's confusing because they mix them, but most of these are framelits because we can stamp the images and then frame it and die cut it, but there are a couple intricate ones in there. All right, and so because we're using thin metal dies, our sandwich is going to change a bit. I still need the Big Shot platform, but then we have the thin die adapter, and that also comes with the purchase of a Big Shot. So instead of a cutting pad, I'm going to use the precision base plate. This is an additional purchase, but worth every penny. You want that if you're doing the thin intricate dies. Okay, so the writing side goes down. And so next we have our cardstock, and this is Peekaboo Peach. And then we're going to use this flower from the Paisley. Okay, and so the cutting edge is that raised edge. So we're going to put that down. And then to finish our sandwich, we have a cutting pad. So we're going to go ahead and just crank that through. All right, and it gets a little bit tight when you get with the thinlet dies, and I like to just back it up just to die cut it a second time, you know, put that pressure down a second time. And then what I have here is a Big Shot die brush, and then a foam mat, and these come together. Well, that just popped out so easily. I'm going to brush this over there to help get out all those little intricate pieces. There we go. And get this to pop out of there. There we go. And so all of those will come out quite easily because we used that precision base plate. Without it, things just don't die cut quite as well. I highly recommend it. And so what I need to do is die cut two more in Tangerine, Tango, and Tip Top Taupe. So after you're done die cutting and running over them with the Big Shot die brush, if you have any of these still, well, here's one still in the hole, just take your paper piercing tool and look, it just comes out real easily. Okay, so that's a tip. All right, so I want to do something before we get to our stamping. I have underneath me a silicone mat, and I'm turning these because I think there's a right side and wrong side. This side just doesn't look quite as nice as the other. It doesn't look as finished. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Multipurpose liquid glue and squeeze and get this on there. There'll probably be a little something on there. Squeeze and get this going. And I'm going to let it get tacky. So I'm going to, put this on and then set it aside and let it get tacky. And it's easy to work with. Set it aside while we're doing the stamping. Okay? Alright, so once you get it going, and then I've got this silicone mat underneath me because if I get some adhesive on there, that's just, when it dries, it's just going to peel right off. And so then I don't have my whole surface all full of glue that I'm going to be stamping on in just a moment. Okay. Once I get a stream of this going, there we go. I'm pretty good at getting it on without making too big of a mess. Okay, let's set this over here. So we're going to do this with all of them. Thought about using the Sizzix adhesive sheets, but I think they'd be stuck to each other before I was ready. And you'll see as I go to place them what I'm talking about. So this is my best choice. Okay. Let me move. See, I'm not being quite as neat as I want, but hey, with the silicone mat underneath me, the silicone sheet, it's all good. Okay, so one more. Because I was bragging about myself that I was getting pretty good with this, those first two weren't quite so smooth. Now that I've got it going, you can see once I get that glue flowing, you don't have to press terribly hard to get a thin line out. Okay, fantastic. So that's plenty of the multi-purpose liquid glue on there. We'll go ahead and set that aside and we're ready to do some stamping. So let's start with this Whisper White piece that we just stamped, or we just embossed. I have here the Tip Top Taupe Classic Stampin' Pad. Push, flip, lock that lid into place. Okay, and so then I have the stamp that I just love from here, the Thankful, Grateful, Blessed. Let's ink that all up. And we're going to get close to the top, to that flower. The photopolymer is so cool because you can see right where you're stamping. Oh, doesn't that look nice? Okay, so we're going to set that aside because we're going to do now stamp some paisley on here. And this is going to go along the top. And so we only need to stamp from about here down, not the entire surface. So let me set that there just for placement for the first one. Okay, so I have this large paisley with all that great detail. And got that good and inked up. Okay, let's come over here. Tone on tone is one of my favorite things, and what I mean by tone on tone, I'm using the same color ink as the cardstock, and I just love the look. So what we're going to do is we're just going to twist these in different directions, and I'm going to use 3 different ones. Okay, so a big paisley, a large paisley, and then this posy. Great. Okay, so come over here. We want to turn these in different directions. We don't want them all looking the same, so I'm looking at that one. So this would look good. It's going in a different direction than both of the paisleys I have going. Okay, so let's bring this one back, and we can curve it in right about there. Let's see, yep, and it's going yet, at a different angle. So we're just wanting to mix things up. And this to fill in, come over here off that edge a little bit. Oh, looking oh so good. It's fun playing around. Okay, so see, we're already going that way, so we don't want to do that again. And this would be a good angle. Okay. And so we're keeping our design tight. Oh look, very good. And then our posy for some fill-in. great. Isn't that easy? That is so much fun. So we're done with this. Let's go ahead and pull on that and click and put that aside. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and look, see, we've got that full bottom. Doesn't that look great? So now we have some texture on here, and because we have texture, I want to use a strong adhesive, so I'm using the mini glue dots. This is just a holder, not a dispenser, so take them out, peel it back till you see one in the light. If you can, try not to touch them because that'll take away from the extreme stickiness. And we're going to take the card to them. I want one along here. The first time I designed the card, I just put one in each corner, and it was a little bit of a gap right there. You know, it was, trying to think of the right word. You know, it was standing up a little bit, and I wanted it flush. Okay. So if we're going to do that, we might as well do one in the center edge along there. Okay, and see, when we get there with those flowers, that's where it isn't flat, and so we want that extra strong. So we're going to go flush to the top and both sides. All right, let's turn it over. All right, flush, liking that. And then I have here Peekaboo Peach, and so the 3 flowers I die cut were in the Peekaboo Peach, the Tangerine, Tango, and the Tip Top Taupe. Isn't this a pretty color combination? And so I still have that texture right there, so let's go ahead and use more mini glue dots. One at each end, and hey, why not? One in the center. Okay, and I measured this because it's just easier for me if I just have it flush with the bottom of the Whisper White. And so then that left enough room for the medallions. You know what? Before we do those, I did want to do a little something inside. So let's bring back our Tip Top Taupe, push, flip, lock that into place, and how about we just do a posy down here in the corner for our little something. Okay, so we can put that away. So we're almost done. What we're going to do now is bring these back, and we're going to make ourselves a pretty medallion. Okay, I'm going to place that. So I'm centering those on those holes, and see, if I had the Big Shot adhesive sheets, one side was down, I'd be down where I might end up rotating these a little bit. Oh, I'm liking that. That's looking really good. So let's get this out of our way. And so I've got adhesive everywhere, so it's going to hold really well for me. And look, we're going to place it right here. Isn't that pretty? Okay. And so it's going to hold, which is really fantastic. We want that. And so I looked and I thought, what could I put in the center? A rhinestone was going to be just, you know, a little bit more glitzy than I wanted, and then a pearl didn't feel right. Then I remembered my perfect white accents. Look at these. This is going to be fantastic. And so I'm going to use the medium size, but I think it'll look really good with the largest one too. So we just want to get one of those off, and it's just easier for me to place it, to use my paper piercing tool. Boy, I have this at my side all the time. You know, when I wanted an extra mini glue dot, when I had that gaping up there, I used my, my paper piercing tool to get one down in there. But look at that. There's that finishing touch. Let's place it where we want it and then press down. And there we have it. I told you this was going to be an easy, thankful, grateful, and blessed card. If you'd like to make my Thankful, Grateful, Blessed greeting card, all the supplies are listed under the video and available to order in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. I'm Shelly Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.